This is another sign of the times, an analysis and a commentary. China's Yangtze River turns blood red. A stretch of China's longest river has abruptly turned the color of blood red, and officials say they don't know why. Residents of the southwestern city of Chongqing first noticed that the Yangtze River, called the Golden Waterway, had a spreading stain on its reputation. Though the bright red water was concentrated around Chongqing, southwest China's largest industrial center, it was also reported at several other points along the river. Investigators have yet to determine a cause, but there are reports that environmental officials are considering industrial pollution and silt churned up by recent upstream floods as possible sources for the color. One natural explanation for red water that can probably be ruled out is color-producing microbes, according to Emily Stanley, a professor of limnology, the study of inland waters at the University of Wisconsin. When water turns red, the thing a lot of people think of first is red tide. But the algae that causes red tide is a marine group and not a freshwater group, so it's highly unlikely that this is a red tide related incident. Fresh water does occasionally turn blood red for biological reasons. A lake that turned red during a drought in Texas last summer led to talk of the end times. But Stanley said this is most often due to incursions of color-producing bacteria that arrive when a body of water has less oxygen than normal, because rivers move constantly, struggling and mixing with the air above them as they go. They rarely ever get the oxygen deficiencies necessary for a life-based red dye job. In other words, a river in China has turned blood red, and nobody seems to know for sure why. Also, foul smell reported across Southern California. A strong smell of rotten eggs wafted through far-flung parts of Southern California Monday morning, disturbing children at school. The Air Quality Management District has been investigating the smell, which has prompted many residents to call 911. There has been considerable speculation that the odor is coming from a fish die-off at the Salton Sea, but the interim general manager of the Salton Sea Authority said that it is not yet clear whether the inland sea is the culprit. We are in the process of trying to track it down, he said. It would be unusual for a fish die-off to cause odors so far from the Salton Sea. The smell may not be coming from the Salton Sea at all, or if it is from the Salton Sea, there could be other reasons for it. Emergency personnel at the Los Angeles Fire Department were also trying to track down the smell, but by mid-morning, little information was available. The odor has been sensed across vast expanses of Southern California. At Rainbow Ridge Elementary School in Moreno Valley, the smell was particularly bad at about 7:15 a.m. Monday. All of the children were holding their noses. A child was even seen vomiting. In other words, this too is another mystery, and these are more signs of the end of times as we know them. Transition days, which is a time of extraordinary changes, happenings, and events, because it's about what kind of world are we leaving to the future generations, and that should be a very important question to ask. Revelation chapter 15, verse 6. And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, and having their breasts girded with golden girdles. 7. And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels 7 golden vials, full of the wrath of God, who lives for ever and ever. 8. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God, and from his power, and no human was able to enter into the temple, until the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. Chapter 16. And I heard a great voice out of the temple, saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways, and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. 2. And the first went, and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the humans, which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. 3. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea. 4. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood. It's time for the spiritual and physical manifestation of the book of Revelation, and all these are more signs.